Hello! Do you want to be a data engineer? Or just curious to understand what data engineers actually do? If you don't know me, my name is Reese Ang and I'm a data engineer with a twist. I work with Microsoft Azure and I have been in consultancy. So that's it about me. Before I begin, I want to explain what I meant by data engineer in consultancy, which I have been. And what that means is if you are a data engineer working in a company, non-consulting, let's say a bank, a retail business, or an energy company, you typically, when you hire, you typically have a set, kind of quite fixed responsibilities that you have to do. Whereas for myself, when I was hired as a consultant in a data engineering company, I have quite loose responsibilities to do, and that includes doing the data engineering things that we all know, like building data pipelines, building Azure DevOps pipeline, for example, and even I can even do project management as well. So it's quite varied. I just want to clarify that in a bit. Now, one last thing that I want to mention is that the things that I'm going to share here is in respect of the experience. So you could be a junior data engineer or very senior or head of data engineering, and but what I'm going to share here is just basically everything that I know that we do. So what do data engineers do? I'll break it down into 5 points here. Number one, data engineers try to understand the business requirements or the data needs. And I would split into two sections. Section one being the business side, the other side is the data side. With the business side, data engineers have to understand why the business is looking to use the data in the first place. Let's say they want to they want to redesign and rebuild their financial reporting for management decision. Let's say they want to make decision, obviously, and they need brand new reports, for example, or dashboards. Or maybe they want to reduce costs. That's why we help them migrate from their non-cloud into cloud, for example, because I work with Azure, so I'm an Azure cloud engineer. And also, maybe they know they have capacity problems or performance problem with their existing data infrastructure and they want to move. So that's the business side. So you need to they understand, they try to understand what is it the business looking. And the data side is we obviously try to investigate what data exists or what data they have. And this try to understand, yeah, what kind of data that is. Is it relational data? Is it semi-structured? Is it completely unstructured? Like, files, documents, things like that, or social media data. And it could be, we try to understand the volumes, how big data they have, and also how frequent the data gets added into their system. And you also try to understand from data side is also all the systems that exist there, whether you will encounter issues on how to bring those data into your data warehouse, for example. Number two, data engineers design a data platform. Now you might think, design, isn't that what data architect does? Well, maybe. In my experience, we data engineers, we also design a data platform. And what I meant by data platform is basically the infrastructure, the platform basically where the data will travel through from one spot to another, usually from the sources, and usually there are a bunch of data pipelines in the middle, and also transformation, cleaning, etc. And before it goes to the destination, and it could be a data warehouse, or for Azure, it would be Azure Synapse, or maybe AWS will be Redshift, for example. And later on, those data warehouses will get consumed by some dashboards, maybe. Now, with the data platform design, it covers a lot of areas. It could cover data security. It could cover how the data lake folder is structured. And it could also cover some data governance aspects, like how the data is retained, so data retention. It could cover about monitoring of data pipelines. So it's basically what happened when a data pipeline that takes data from one place to another fails, for example. Just to show you what design may look like, this is one of the recent data platform design that I've done, obviously with Azure. And you can see from the left, very left, there is data sources, and slowly to the right, you see how data ingestion happens, where data travel in motion and get stored in the middle, and will be compute or transformation happen, and lastly we get user consumption in Power BI. I'm just gonna quickly go through this because it might be a good one for next videos, because you can see here there's Dynamics, Salesforce, and SAP ERP system as the data sources, and we'll have various mechanisms to bring the data into the data lake in the middle, Azure Data Lake, and that could be a push. In Dynamics, you see the top there is a push into SQL database, whereas Salesforce and SAP BW is a pull using Azure Data Factory. And then from Data Lake, we'll get another pipeline into Azure Synapse for various transformation before the tables and views get consumed by Power BI in the end. It's very quick, but hopefully you get an idea what data platform design looks like. Number 3, we built the data platform. Might sound surprised, but what we've designed, we built them. So yes, we prepared the data factory pipelines from recent examples. We make sure we have some monitoring and alert in place if the data pipelines break. We obviously try to load those data from the sources using the data factory, for example. And we set up all the infrastructure, the data lake, the data warehouse, or the Azure Synapse SQL. And maybe there are some aspects about DevOps CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery, that we need to prepare, because that design I showed you is just for one environment. Typically in software engineering, or good practice will be we have development environment, we have production environment, test environment, and then production environment, where all the real life data and where all the business typically consume. And CI/CD helps to migrate codes from development tests into production. That's some of the things that data engineers do in the build. Number 4, data engineers help enable data consumption. What I mean by that is basically data engineers collaborate with data analysts, with the business, data scientists, to ensure that the data that's been brought in and transformed, etc., can be consumed. And that could be by Power BI. So basically data engineers support the Power BI person to make sure that the reports can read the data, and also the reports can be built. And that is a dynamic activities here that data engineers do, is collaboration, basically. Number 5, lastly, data engineers maintain and enhance the existing data platform. And that could mean a lot of things. That could mean migrating new changes or enhancements in the data warehouse over time, if there are new requests from the business, or it could be fixing bugs, because inevitably there are bugs coming in various places in the pipeline, could be in the data warehouse itself, and also to bring in new data. That's definitely a possibility. To conclude, the things that data engineers do: number 1, we understand the requirements or the needs of the business. Number 2, it's we design a data platform. Number 3, we build the data platform. Number 4, we enable or facilitate data consumption. Number 5, we maintain and enhance. That's it for today's video. By all means, press like and subscribe, turn on the notification bells for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.